What is going on, guys? Pixcam20 back in with a brand new video. We are here at Red Bull Ring for the Manufacturer Cup Race. This is the second race of the season as we are here in our Group 3 car in the Honda NSX as we are paired up with other Honda NSXs, a Subaru, a couple Porsches, some Chevys, and even some GTRs. So when coming to this race, I didn't really have that much confidence going into this race as the a lot of the cars on the top leaderboards weren't any of the NSXs. They were actually Mercedes. I think I saw like a Porsche, as well as some GTRs on the top 10 leaderboards for the fastest laps on this race. So I wasn't really confident when coming into it. Plus, I ran a couple of practice races, and the tire were on the NSX would be good on the first 5 to 10 laps, but after the 10th lap, it just started fading away. So that's one thing we have to kind of keep aware as we jump into the points. So coming to the points here, if we get first place, we get 232 points. Again, I'm not shooting for first here. I highly doubt we'll be able to get that, but if we are able to get at least a podium, that should be enough points to help us out in the standings. As right now, currently, I believe we are 5th on the standings for the Honda NSX. So before we jump into qualifying, if you guys really enjoy the content, please subscribe to the channel and leave a like on the video, as it really helps out the channel when you guys do so. Anyways, that's enough promoting myself. Let's jump straight into qualifying. So coming into qualifying, we have to push as best as we can to try to get a good starting spot. It's just so important to get a good starting grid on this racetrack, as there's just not a lot of overtaking opportunities. And not only that, at the end of the second sector and during the entire third sector, it's just very difficult to try to make any type of overtaking passes, as it's just a lot of long sweeping corners on this racetrack. So finishing our first flyer lap, we get a 130.2, good enough to put us into 5th place, but we want to push to at least secure a better spot as we jump up into our second flyer lap. Coming down this part of the track, we actually get blocked off by the car ahead of us, as I'm not sure exactly what he was doing. He just decided to brake right before the corner, and that's going to destroy our lap there as we try to finish off a third flyer lap, and we're unable to make up any more progression on the lap as our tires were just worn, as we finished with a 130.2 and 0.3 of a second behind pole position. So it's a very, very close field. As you can see, I mean, the top 14 cars are only separated by half a second. So we're going to have to be on top of our toes and just try to push as best as we can and make as many overtakes as we can. As it's going to be a little bit difficult since everyone almost has the exact same pace. So coming to the race, the strategy for this race was basically just pushing as hard as you can, because there was no pit stop that was required on this track. The tire wear and the fuel situation wasn't that bad. And you can actually make it through the entire race without having to come into the pits, especially because we are starting on the hards, and that's the only tire that was given to us for the race. So again, we're just gonna have to push hard as much as we can, be aggressive, but also be patient, as there's a lot of ways that we can screw this up, especially heading into a couple of these corners, as they're very tight hairpins as we jump up into the race. So as we're getting the countdown now to go ahead for the race, we come out of the final corner right behind the BMW as we are starting in 11th place. We're swerving left and right to try to get some heat into the tires. As you see, the cars ahead of us are doing the exact same thing as we head into turn number 1. Coming to turn number 1, we just take it very simple as the car goes out wide ahead of us. And that should allow us to try to catch up to them, as he probably just came in front of some cars and slowed them down as we come down the straightaway, leading us into turn number 3. Coming down into turn number 2, leading us into turn number 3, we try to brake as early as we can to avoid making contact with the BMW, as he almost makes contact with the GTR, and there's actually a car on the outside that goes a little bit wide, and he continues back onto the track, makes contact with the BMW ahead of us, and let's see actually what happened to the Porsche right ahead of us. So coming to turn number 3, he just outbrakes himself, almost takes out the other Honda NSX, and he tries to get back onto the track cleanly, but he makes contact with the BMW when he does that. And now we have 9th and 10th right ahead of us as they're going side by side, giving us a good slipstream as we head into turn number 4. Coming to turn number 4 here, we try to brake as late as we can to catch up to him, but you see there's a car off, and it's the Honda NSX that went off as he was fighting with the Porsche, just braked way too late, and that caused him to go into the dirt. So our objective here for the race is just to finish ahead of all the NSXs, as I already knew that the NSX was going to be a really bad car, as 9th place actually gets a 1-second penalty. So that should be able to help us out as we head into this left-hander. We hold our position there as the BMW goes a little bit wide. But yeah, going back to our strategy, we just have to finish ahead of all these NSXs, as we want to just finish ahead of them and try to hold our position on the standings, as I think we're going to be able to be a little more competitive next race. As you see, 9th place 7th place has to service penalty, and we get promoted into 9th place as we head into the final 2 corners. So stay right behind the BMW now as we come into the final corner. We're gonna finish this lap off in 9th place as we did start 11th, so we gained 2 positions in the span of 1 lap. So a really good first lap as we heading into turn number 3. Coming to turn number 3, we almost outbrake ourselves and almost ran the BMW ahead of us. He gets a little bit loose, able to hold it together though. And we follow him on the slipstream as we head down into the straightaway, taking us into turn number 4. So stay right behind the slipstream of him. We're covering the inside as the car right behind us is trying to make a move onto the outside. And you see right behind us that the car goes very wide, or brakes very late and overtakes the car that was trying to battle us on the outside. As we switch off to the rear brakes, we're trying to keep it onto the inside here as we're heading side by side into the left-hander. We're able to hold off the position there and set our sights back on the BMW as they're just racing really hard behind us. So it's a little frustrating there as we just want to try to go single file down this race and try to catch up to the BMW without racing too much and costing us a lot of time as we jump up into lap number 3. So coming to lap number 3, tires still feel really well, but ahead of us there's a train of cars as they're beating and banging, going single file there as they're nose to tail. Just catching up to BMW, but we're unable to make the position as we jump up into lap number 4. Coming to the first corner, get a good entrance there as we're trying to get a good exit. Fast forward here down the straightaway as we're catching up to the BMW now, heading to the 3rd corner. Brake as late as we can again, but you see the Porsche makes a move onto the outside, and we have to give him the outside spot as we're going down onto the straightaway, leading us into turn number 4. Going down to the penalty zone, the Porsche actually has to serve his penalties, so that lessens the pressure on us as we head down the straightaway, leading us into turn number 4. Coming to turn number 4, the car behind us is trying to make a move onto the inside as we try to cover him, but he's onto the inside, so we got to give him the space there. And we're going to go side by side now as we head into turn number 5 and onto the other left-hander. Keeping on to the inside here as we're going side by side behind the BMW. We were able to hold it off, and we're able to hold our position there now as we jump up into lap number 5. So again, coming into lap number 5, we're getting pressured again as we head into turn number 3 as the car's trying to make a move onto the outside, and the Porsche is able to make a brilliant move on the outside of us as he braked later than us, and we got to concede the position there as we're still getting pressure from behind. And we follow the Porsche out on the slipstream as we head down the straightaway, covering the inside here. Our tires are starting to fall off a little bit as the Porsche just has so much pace here on the long runs. As we try to brake as late as we can to cover our spot. Behind us, they're going too wide, and we're able to do so as we come into the end of lap number 5. So jumping up a little further now into lap number 6. Ahead of us, they're going 3 wide as we head into turn number 3. Heading to the hairpin. Are they going to be able to make it as we're actually getting overtaken from the inside? They make contact there as 2 cars actually get spun out by the Corvette. And we lose 2 positions because of that, but we're able to gain 2 positions. Let's see what happened here. Just going 3 wide. The Porsche tries to make a move onto the inside. They get tangled up there, but then they get finished off by the Corvette. And 2 of them both get spun out. And we're able to just stay in the same position that we were before coming into that hairpin as we jump up into lap number 7. So halfway through the lap of lap number 7, you see they're fighting with each other ahead of us as there's 4 cars fighting for the position of 6th place. And that's going to allow us to catch up to them as we come into the final 2 corners now. Coming to the final 2 corners, braking right before the 50-meter board. We're making a move onto the inside of the Corvette, but we make contact with him as we're just trying to make a move as easy as we can as the GTR gets pushed out wide by the Corvette. And that's going to allow us to make the overtake on him as he's got a really bad momentum coming out of that final corner. And we promote ourselves into 9th place as we jump up into lap number 8 and fall right behind these 3 cars ahead of us that are still fighting for 6th place. So we set our sights down on 6th place as the Porsche gets a little loose coming out of the first corner. Fast forwarding here into turn number 3, we try to brake as late as we can, but we're unable to make any type of move on the Porsche ahead of us as we now have to cover our spot from behind from the GTR as he's trying to make a move onto the inside of us. So coming to the middle part of lap number 8, the Porsches ahead of us are still fighting with each other as that's going to hold us up there as we can't make any type of move without bumping out the Porsche ahead of us. Staying right behind him as we follow him on the slipstream. We're just trying to go left and right, trying to make any type of moves. We're trying to make a move to the inside, but we didn't see the GTR there. And luckily for us, the GTR backs out of the move there as we almost made contact with them as we were just trying to make a move onto the inside of the Porsche. And that kind of scared me there because I thought we were going to get tagged and spun out there as we head down to the final corner now, leading us into lap number 9. Staying in the slipstream of the Porsche now as we come into turn number 1 on lap number 9. You see that the GTR is now on the inside of us as we're going to have to concede the position and lose 10th place. If not, he's going to push us out wide. We do so there as he gets a little loose coming out of turn number 1. And because of that, we have to let go of the gas, and we actually lose 10th place because of that, because we lose the momentum coming out of that first corner. So coming into turn number 3 now again, into the hairpin. Brake right before the 100-meter board. We try to make a move onto the outside of the Porsche, but it's just a little too optimistic as they make contact again. And I believe the GTR spun out the Porsche as we're trying to make a move onto the outside. We get squeezed out on the outside, and we're able to make up 9th place there as I'm not sure where this Lexus came from, but he ended up coming in front of us. Let's see what happened here. GTR just goes in a little too hot, spins out the Porsche, but good on him. He actually stops and waits for the Porsche because he knew that was a bad move there. So he waits for the Porsche, lets the Porsche pass him, and they continue racing there as we head into this turn. So coming to this turn, we brake a little too late, make contact with the Lexus, but luckily we don't spin him out or anything like that. And that's actually going to cost us there as the Porsche behind us is now able to make a move onto the inside here as we're going side by side. Going to the left-hander, we're able to outbrake him as we're on the outside here, coming to the second left-hander. And we're able to hold off 9th position as we jump up into lap number 10. So coming to lap number 10, car's trying to make a move onto the outside here. So we're going to try to brake as late as we can, going into the hairpin. Try to hold it off into the inside. We make a little bit of contact with the Porsche, and that's actually going to hurt us there as we get tapped from behind. And the Porsche is able to get away scot-free as he's now right ahead of us, able to overtake us on 9th place as we're trying to make us keep on to the inside there as we're trying to hold off the car behind us. Defend our position heading into turn number 4, keep it on to the inside, and we're able to do so as we come into the end of lap number, not the end of lap number 4, but off of turn number 4, heading us into turn number 5, and jumping up into lap number 11. So coming to the final 2 corners of lap number 11, we're now trying to fight the Porsche for 9th place, as I think 8th is going to be the best position that we're going to be able to get, as we're starting to lose wear on the tires and starting to lose a lot of grip. As you can see off the corner, we're just unable to drive it as best as we can and step back onto the throttle, and that's going to cost us a little bit as we come into this first corner here. You can see right here that the Porsche just gets a very, very good exit there, and we just have no drive coming off the corner. So we just have to look out for our tires, and if we could try to make any type of an attempt of an overtake, as we have no cars behind us, we should be able to as we come into the hairpin. So coming to the hairpin, the Porsche covers the inside as we're trying to make a move onto the outside, but it's just a little too optimistic, and the Porsche is able to cover us there as we come into the end of lap number 13. So coming to the second sector here, we actually get a good run coming off the left-hander, and we're going to try to see if we could try to make any type of move on the back bumper of the Porsche. Staying right behind him, he actually gets a little loose, and we make contact with him, but that actually helps him out, as that's going to propel him forward and actually gain a couple tenths of a second on us as we enter the final 2 corners now. And now you can see how far the Porsche is getting away from us, as we just have no grip right now, as we're just struggling now on this final part of the last lap. Coming to the middle sector here, we're getting a little bit loose as we almost lose it there, trying to just keep it on the track. We're swerving left and right, so we just have no grip on our tires, and that's going to invite the car behind us to try to make a move onto the inside. We try to block him, but he has too much momentum coming to the final corner. We lose 10th or 11th place, 10th place. We get demoted into 11th as we come into the final corner now, just trying to finish this race as best we can, as we still are just struggling with the tire wear. We get a penalty, and we're actually going to lose 11th to the BMW, and we finished this race in 12th place, but fortunately we were ahead of all the other NSXs, so very disappointing on the finish there, as we just lost grip at the end of the race, and we had no grip left to fend off ourselves from these 2 cars. But the only bright side to this race is we were able to finish ahead of the NSXs in these in this lobby, so we were able to get more points than them, so able to help us out on the point standings, as again I just was not expecting us to finish good on this race, but at least I thought we were going to be able to finish in at least the top 6, top 5, but I wasn't able to do that here for this race. So set our sights now on the next race for the Manufacturer Cup race, which is going to be at Dragon's Trail, and hopefully we can finish at least in the top 5 there and propel us forward more into the points as we finish here in 12th place, finishing with I believe 125 points for the standings. So not something to be proud of, but we still got a long season ahead of us, so we have a lot more races to try to make up more points. So yeah, so very fun race. We're able to miss a lot of the carnage there. It just sucks that we lost so much tire wear at the end and lost so much grip because of that, and costing us 2 positions. So yeah, if you guys really enjoyed the video, again, please subscribe to the channel and leave a like on the video. It really helps out the channel when you guys do so. And if you guys found this video very entertaining, and I hope to see you guys on the next one, peace out.